Hello Space Engineers, Wellington6012 here, and welcome to episode number 5 of my tutorial series. How is everybody today? Hope you are good. You find me here just on the hill above the base, overlooking the lake. It's a very nice spot here, I have to say. In fact, this whole planet is a very nice planet. But yeah, so things to do. We need to dig some more stone. I have already dug some stone, but we need to dig some more. And yeah, we can probably just revisit some of the things that we could have done were we to stay on the other side of that hill over there, right at the start of the series. And yeah, to sort of do that sort of order of things. But we've done it in this order, but now we're back at the point where we need to do some more digging of stone in order to get resource, to be able to build things to get more resource. Yeah, so let's get into it. We'll head back down to the base down the bottom there. Now then, you'll notice this new block that I put in. This is called a collector, and by name, it collects things. So what we're going to do is we're going to use it to, I'm going to mine some stone out of this hill and have it roll down and have this collector. So I will, I'll grab some steel. I've already got steel in my inventory, and I'm just going to make some blocks. Use these armor blocks to kind of make a little bit of a funnel. And last one. Okay. So now if we do a little bit of digging, then they should roll down and hopefully not get stuck, and then sucked into there, and then that will produce some iron and other bits and pieces. So that's good. So this method, just something to be aware of, is the object limit. So what the object limit is, oh, we've gone a little bit skew if there, we'll try going up the middle. What the object limit is that these rolling bits of ore and components and ingots, like those gravel ingots that we dumped out of the inventory last time, they count towards the object limit. You can set the limit from anywhere from about 50 up to 1,000 and something. They can affect game performance, so depending on what sort of computer you've got, you may want it lower. A good computer, you may have it higher. If you're doing this sort of mining, something to be aware of is that if you've got a whole lot of these rolling down all at once, and say you've got it set to 50 objects, then you might find that if you've got 50 all in motion, the oldest ones actually despawn before they get to the collector. So it is just something to be aware of if you are using this method. And I'm using it with a hand drill, but you can also build a block drill onto one of your ships as well. So I'll probably do that a little bit later with the respawn pod. So we're going to go through a few different options. Ooh, a little bit stuck there. We're going to go through some different options to kind of harvest things today. And yeah, as I sort of said, this is something we could have done over in that other valley instead of flying over here and doing it. In fact, if I was drilling out of the hill over there, it might have even been a bit easier. Never mind. Okay, so let's just continue to drill some stuff here, and I'll just get a little bit more iron into my produced, because I have run out of it. I'm going to need some shortly. Right, so we've got a reasonable amount of iron. Not heaps, but hopefully it'll be enough to do the next little thing I want to do. So that is upgrade this respawn pod. I've already started slicing off some blocks, which is where I actually got that steel from that I sort of started with. Yeah, and that is certainly an option. I'm doing a lot of hand mining of stone, but an option is that, you know, potentially we could break this down for parts. We could have done it over the other side in the valley. For instance, you know, these have got metal grids. We could have used them to make that cargo container. There's also some other parts there which would go a long way to making a drill setup, which again we'll sort of work on. So there's a whole lot of things we can do. The survival kit has some medical components in, 3 of them. We're not going to be able to make those for a while because we don't have any silver. But yeah, we could have salvaged those and remade a survival kit on station. So that could have been an option as well. But yeah, so I want to sort of upgrade this, and we may actually still salvage it yet to help build some other bits and pieces, but we'll just see how things go. So the first thing I want to do is upgrade the engines on it, specifically swapping these little ones out for a set of the big ones, these ones here. These need steel tube, metal grid, and motors. These still have a steel tube, metal grid, and some motors. So we're just going to have to make some extra motors. So first of all, let's get rid of these ones, and then we will replace them. So 2, 3, 4. I mean, they did the job, but what we're going to do now is some drilling and stuff, and we need a bit more power for the yaw and roll and pitch. What am I doing? Atmospheric thrusters. Amos? No, Atmos. That one there. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's roll them up. Like so. So there's 1. There's 2. Still need some motors. Now, remember last episode we looking in the toolbar configuration, if we wanted to add a thruster to our build planner, we could drag it down into there. So we'll go through the mouse controls, the shortcuts to do that, because you wouldn't actually, seldom do you actually use the menu screens to do your build planner. Normally it's through the mouse shortcuts. So with the welder out and hovering over the block that you want to add to the build planner that's missing components, it's just with the welder out, right click on the mouse and that will add it. So now you can see that we've got the atmospheric thruster there with 12 motors. So weld this one up, and again right click, adds it to the build planner, weld up as much as you can, right click, adds to the build planner. So now if we go down to here and we'll jump into here. So first of all, we've got we can withdraw any components that we need that are already in there using this button, or alternatively, again, normally players use the shortcuts, we would just press the middle mouse button. We can also pull out 10 at a time by holding control middle mouse button, and we can also pull them out without deleting the build planner by holding alt control middle mouse button. And then if we don't have enough parts that we've produced and we want to produce more, remember it's this button here to add those to the build planner. And that's shift middle mouse button. So we don't need to be in the menu to do that. We can just come up and say, right, middle mouse button to get out whatever I can. No, we're still missing components. So shift middle mouse button puts them into production. So if we go back in, you can see that it's in production. And we've just got enough iron to produce those, which is very good news, but they will take a little while to produce those motors. Very good, that's all those built. So now we will replace this seat with a cockpit. So let's get rid of that and we'll get some parts back from it. And that is no longer attached, so we'll take that off. Now something I did also look at was in the progression, we've pretty much unlocked everything that we kind of need to unlock. These will just unlock in due course when we build them. We're not building them right now. But the only thing that sort of was missing that would be good to do now is just a beacon. And there is a beacon up here, so we can hack this one. So that's taking ownership of it and rebuilding it. So what we'll do is just grind it down below the hack line. And the hack line relates to computers. So if it's something's got computers in it, you're able to hack it. There's an ownership attached to it, which again we'll cover off later on. But yeah, so this is the same as building it. We can hack it down to the hack line, use our welder and re-weld it back up, and then it's the same as building one from scratch. And we've unlocked new blocks, which is going to be the antennas. And I think the antennas unlocked something else, so we could do the same with this antenna. Hack it down past the computers, past the hack line, and then re-weld it, and that opens up that. Okay, so that's good. That's pretty much knocked off the progression. There's a couple of other big things which there's no way we're going to build right now, but that's pretty much unlocked everything. We pretty much have everything available to us now. Right, so yeah, let's look at cockpits actually. So we'll grab that group and put it into the toolbar. So we've got this one here, which is the basic one, but we're going to want to connect it to the conveyor system. I mean, ideally, we would connect 3x3. That way we can get anything through our cockpit. The problem is that the connector's on the bottom, the 3x3, the conveyor port. On the back is 1x1, and you'll find that's the same with most of them, with the exception of this fighter cockpit. But we haven't got access to any 3x3s in this respawn pod, so we're pretty much going to go for something that's got a 1x1 conveyor port in the back. These require metal grids, so that's going to be out. That one has the 3x3 at the back. This is probably a pretty good option. This is the one that you can get as a sort of gift when you subscribe to the Keen newsletter. So yeah, I think we'll use this one. It'll be quite good. And if we just sort of kind of place it there, what I think we'll do is we'll just have to rejiggle. We might even bring it forward a couple of blocks as he falls off the edge. Yeah, we might just have to rejiggle these pipes. So let's do that. We'll get rid of the small cargo because that's not actually doing anything for us. And I'll get rid of you, because you were connected with that thruster underneath that we ground off way back on sort of day one. And we'll just re-pipe these. Let's grab the conveyor block, so the group, which is here. And we'll put that one in there, because that kind of needs to connect to things as a bit of a splitter. Put that corner in there, so that way the canvas, the parachute hatch will accept canvas. And I might just put a couple of these. Oh, that's a T-junction. That's not right. Let's just put a couple of straight ones, I think. Like that. And that will bring it out. Okay. Now with the, speaking of canvas, remember I did take that off the inventory so we couldn't see it. As long as you have a canvas produced, it will fill up. So before I forget, I will just produce a canvas now. And that should automatically just go into there. Now again, the color coding, you can see here we've got the yellow lights. That means it's disconnected. And in fact, we've got an open end here, so that's why it's disconnected. Whereas green, connected properly. If it was red, that would mean we have no power on the grid. And if it was black, and possibly smoking, or on fire, it would mean it's damaged. Okay, so again, just that color coding, just to be aware of. Now, I think the attach point for the cockpit is in the middle, it's not on the side. So what I mean by that is if I try and attach this cockpit, you can see it's kind of attaching in the middle. I can't do it offset, so I just need to make a bit of an anchor or something to put it on. That's fine. You'll note the gyroscope is missing. I moved that around here off camera, so that's that. And yeah, let's weld up this. So again, using the welder, right click to add anything missing, go into a terminal or an access port, and first of all we'll use middle mouse button to see if there's anything in there we can withdraw. And yeah, we've got some things I think, but not many. And then shift middle mouse to produce, and then that will produce the rest of the stuff. And yeah, we can make glass in the assembler, so that's good. And let's just continue to work through there. And all done. Jump in here. I'll just add some blocks to the toolbar. So first of all, we'll go to connector, which we want switch lock. Our battery, recharge on off. Then our groups. So we've got the thrusters, turn them on and off, and the landing gears, switch lock. Now remembering the groups, we've got the new atmospheric thrusters that we need to add into the group. So I'm just going to hit the group there that I want to add into, and using the control key, I'm going to use the mouse button to select those as well. Then I'm just going to click on this, the block group name, and then save, and that will then add them to the group. So now they're in the group, I can remove them from the toolbar, remove them from the terminal, just to keep things tidy. So that's fine. Yeah, in fact, yeah, that's cool. We'll come back to that. I just had a thought, but we'll come back to that. Okay, so that's pretty good. So this is all good to go now. We can pretty much fly. But what I want to do is put a drill on this. So let's grab the drill block out of here. And there's the group, and there's the drill. We'll just put that in. Maybe we'll put it in the second slot. And yeah, I just want to build one of these and put it on the front. I mean, I could put two of them on the side. Maybe that's something later on. Maybe that's something I need to consider, having this a bit further forward. But we'll just put the one on the front for now. And yeah, you see that this does actually have a port on the front. It's got a couple on the side as well. So this will act as part of the conveyor network. We can drill stuff, which will go all the way through. So let's weld that up. Still need some stuff. And I think we are going to need to do some more drilling, because we haven't quite got enough iron by the looks. Right, that stopped making noise, so it must be done. Yes, middle mouse button, got everything out, and we'll just weld all that up. Right, so what I'll do now is I'll just launch, and we'll need to load some things onto our toolbar, and I'll just explain how this drill block tool works. So let's turn the batteries back onto auto and unlock, and then we are away. So first of all, with our upgraded engines, we've certainly got a lot more forward and back thrust inside, and that's going to be useful for when we're sort of on the tilt, that we're not going to drift like we did before. So the first thing that I want to put on the toolbar is going into the toolbar config, pressing the G key. I'm going to put the drill on. I'm just going to give it the option of on-off. And this is just very simply, we turn it on, pressing the key, and then when we dig some stone, we'll just come over here because it's a little bit more horizontal, vertical. When we dig, it's just like mining mode on our hand drill. So we can mine there. I'll turn it off again. And if we go into the inventory, you can see that we've got a little bit of stone in there. Okay, so that's just in mine mode, a simple on-off. Now the other option that we can do with these block tools, whether it's a drill or a welder, is in here we've got this tools tool block group, and we can drag this down the drill one into our toolbar. And what this is going to do is this is going to activate our drill in mouse control mode. So if I press number 7 to activate that, I only need to press it once and it will be there. Now instead of turning the drill on and off, I can simply press the left mouse button and I can then drill and mine the stone and collect the stone. The same as if you pressed the left mouse button on your hand drill. Now pressing the right mouse button puts it into destroy mode. So we're not collecting, but we're making a bigger hole. So again, this just duplicates the function that you have on your hand drill, just a bigger version of it. And in fact, we could just about go right into the hill that would make a big enough hole for our ship to go into. Now on your hand drill, you can double click to keep them going. You can't do that with this mode, but a hack, or maybe it's intended, I'm not sure, to get around that is you can either press the left mouse button or the right mouse button to go in destroy mode, go into a menu pressing the K, and then you can let go of the mouse button and get back out of the menu and it stays on. So that's a little bit of a hack to keep it going instead of the double click. And then we just hit the mouse button again, whichever one it was mode you activated it. So now we have a drill that we've got the option of using our mouse to control, or we can just simply turn it on and off as well. So let's come over here and we'll look at using this drill to actually get some stone. And what I'm going to do is, an option is that we could just fill up our inventory and we could go and connect to the connector, and then the connector would, when we connected the refinery would suck it out of the ship. Another thing that we can do is we can go into the menu, into our connector, and we can go and turn on collect all. And when we do that, if we look in our inventory, currently the connector is empty. If I turn on collect all, now it's going to actually collect stone from, or whatever, it'll collect anything it can out of the ship. Okay, so if I put those in the medium cargo container, it collects those. So it's not grabbing it out of the survival kit, because the survival kit uses stone. It's not grabbing the ice out of the generator, because the generator grabs the stone. So it's only grabbing sort of spare stuff, if that makes any sense. And then we can also eject that out by turning throw out on. And now you can see that it's ejecting the stone out the back. And we can also put these on the toolbar, which is quite useful. So we'll put collect all on off. We'll put throw out on off, because we want to disable those functions when we dock. Otherwise it's going to pull everything out of our station and try and eject it, which would be bad. So now let's go back over here. We've got our collect all on, we've got our eject on, and let's turn our drill on. And now we can drill, and you can see the size of the stone that is coming out, the lumps of it, in comparison to our hand drill. So a lot more efficient, but essentially we're doing the same work as a hand drill. We're just increasing the volume of materials that we're producing, but it's still exactly the same concept. So I'm just going to keep drilling and get some more iron processing, and then we'll use another technique as well. We'll set up a drill arm. Okay, so this is chewing through the stone quite nicely. I've put sort of 3 or 4 dumps of stone in, making sure I didn't sort of overfill the system. But yeah, we've got plenty of, well, I won't say plenty, we've got enough iron, I think, to do what we want to do. So that is good. Right, I'll grab these interior plates, and yeah, what I'm going to do is grind down this, because we're not going to use the collector anymore. It's not to say we won't stop collecting stuff as such. We might just use another method, but the main thing we're going to do here is drill. So let's first of all start off with a conveyor. So let's go and put that in, and we'll raise it up a little bit. Maybe that much. Yeah, that should be enough. Okay, and then we're going to need to put in some other blocks. So we'll go and select hinge first of all. So we'll put that one in, and we'll put a piston in that one, and we've already got the drill. So first of all, we'll put the hinge on there. Just rotate that around. Now, there is actually some settings that we need to do to the hinge in this build state, so it doesn't cause us trouble, which I'll actually just show you what that is. If I was to put that piston on now, you can see it just drops, because there's no power in the hinge to kind of keep it up. So we'll just get rid of this, and we'll just do that again. You can also note that there's 2 parts to each of those blocks as well. So the hinge has not only the hinge itself, it's also got a hinge head, and then the piston has the same thing. So I'm going to go into here, and we'll go into the incomplete hinge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock it. I'll also turn up the braking torque on it as well. The braking torque is just when it's turned off, when it's depowered. So yeah, it's not so much when it's working, because the actual, when it's working, the motors or the hydraulics or however it works will actually control that. This is just when it's depowered. So now we should be able to put our piston on without it falling down. Okay, and then we've got our drill. I'm going to go with the large grid drill today, but there's going to be a cost to that. You can see how expensive it is in regards to the amount of steel. So 180 plus another 120 to make it complete. They're kind of optional, those ones, although there is no function line on it. But yeah, we don't really need that second lot. But yeah, we'll put that on, and an option for the drill is actually, especially in the start game, we can use the small version. So we've got the large one here. We just press the R to swap to the small one, and you can just see the comparative. There is a big difference between the resources required for one over the other. We could adapt that down using a hinge or a rotor, and yeah, that's certainly something we'll look at. But just for now, we will go with the big one because it will give us a bit of storage as well, which is quite useful. So yeah, let's weld this up, and then we'll get into using it. The other thing is, I've set it up in this way, well out of the ground, because drills don't actually. You can't place them in the voxel. You need to be outside the voxel. So because they're basically kind of always a ship. Remember we talked about the difference between a ship and a station, a mobile grid and a static grid, and mobile grids can't go into voxel, and a drill is kind of always mobile, the drill head at least. So yeah, so we'll weld all this up, and yeah, I'll just grab these parts in the build planner. You'll note that the head is a separate part to the piston, so we need to have separate things in the build planner. Same with the piston part and the piston, the hinge part, sorry, and the hinge itself. And I think I just did that twice by accident. Yes, I did. Let's try that again. Hinge, okay, and that one, and that one, and that one, and not enough room for that one, but that's cool. So we'll just grab anything out we can and shift middle mouse to put those things into production, and yep, that's producing. Cool, and we've got enough iron to do that, all just by the looks, but that's fine. Alright, let me weld all this up, and yeah, we'll get on to doing some big mining, I'd say. Okay, so that should be all the parts now. Yes, except for the other 120 steel, but we don't need those. Okay, so let's turn this on. And we'll set the hinge, take it off lock. And we'll set it for minus 0.1 RPM. And it's going the wrong way, we'll reverse it. And that actually feels a little bit quick to me, so we'll do 0.05 or half the speed again. Yeah, that's probably achievable. Okay, so you can see that there's a little bit of a gap between the drill and the voxel starting to get dug. That's because there is like a round sort of circle around the drill, an invisible round circle, globe, sphere, which is its sort of drill area. Now that's only around the drill head, so this sort of section here is not. So we're going to have to clear out some of this voxel underneath in order to make sure that it doesn't sort of bang against it. So let's just do the right click mining and kind of just try and keep ahead of it. Try not to get too close to the drill head because that will injure my clone. And let's just keep going. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now, I did say that this will act as a collector as well, so if I left-click mine with my drill, and we can see that there's bits of ore going in, then this will suck up those bits of ore. So once this gets and creates a hole, we can actually use it as a collector at the bottom of the hole, which is not a bad option sometimes. We may end up doing that at another point later on. But yeah, this will provide us an awful lot of stone. I mean, you can see in here, first of all, just look at the storage capacity, 23,000 litres in this drill. So yes, it was expensive to build, but it has got a lot of storage. So that's working well. We'll just continue. I just need to be careful that we don't let it sort of bang into the voxel. Because these are what we call subgrids, so it's not part of the main grid, it's a subgrid, and there's a couple here. Just the way that all the physics works, potentially this is quite a weak point, so you know, if we do get an explosion we might lose our drill. So between destroying a little bit of stone, which is nothing in the grand scheme of things, and destroying our drill that we just built, I'll stick with destroying the stone, thank you. Just going to clear out some of these bits so they're not so sort of, yeah, messy. But yeah, so this, I think, is where I am going to call it today. We'll just let it kind of keep going until it's more or less full. I will set up, I think, next time an event controller to sort of control it. We'll put in a button panel as well. I'm not going to do that today because I think we've covered off enough. And yeah, there was a bit to take in with the different sort of systems we've used. But certainly this is a good way using this setup to get a lot of resource, especially at the start of the game. Now there is no reason that we couldn't have done this over at the other site. There's nothing specifically here that means we can do this here. So as I say, you know, that decision point that we had right back at the start, whether to stay there or whether to come over, this is sort of what I'm talking about. Doing it here means we've kind of got our base in the right place, because we would need to potentially move somewhere afterwards, but we're kind of where we want to be. So this stone is going to give us an awful lot of resource to begin with, particularly, of course, iron, silicon, and nickel. So even though we're on top of those deposits in its pure form, we're probably not going to need it actually. And if you're just talking about mods, which we're not doing mods, we're playing this definitely vanilla, but if you're talking about mods, and this is one that I use quite often, is a mod to actually prevent us converting stone into iron and those other elements, because yeah, it's there's really no shortage of it, and in fact we are full. So I will, I think, turn off the hinge, or I'll lock the hinge, and I'll turn off the drill, and that can process. Yeah, so it's giving us too much as far as I'm concerned for my enjoyment of gameplay. It's perfect when we're still learning, but it's one of those things that, yeah, I just find there's too much. You know, it's not. Why would I dig out nickel when doing it this way I get more than enough? But yeah, that's where I'm going to call it. So yeah, next time I'll put in a little bit of automation into this drill so we can actually leave it. That's really the key. And we'll definitely go out. I know I promised to do it this episode, but next episode we will definitely go out and find, amongst other things, some cobalt. So we'll go through that process. Just in between episodes, I might even weld up some of this floor and bits and pieces. But yeah, that's where I'm going to call it. So hope you did enjoy today's episode. If you've got any feedback, feel free to, you know, sort of throw it down below there somewhere, or over on Discord. But yeah, I hope you did enjoy today's episode, and can join me again next time. And until next time, as always, stay safe out there, everybody, and have a good one.